Great to have you guys alongside me, grade ones. Good morning to you. I hope everyone's well. Let's get into it as quick as possible. We're going to be doing a new story for this week. It's called Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper. If you got access to Wi-Fi, you can just type in Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper. There's a lot of other stories on Henry and Mudge series, so you can check them out if you've got time. Let's get into it. I will be reading. Follow with your books. Make sure to um, look out for the highlighted words in yellow. This is Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper and Mrs. Hopper's house. It is realistic fiction. It has settings uh, that seem to be from real stories. And the question of the week is, what treasures can we share with our neighbors? Let me just enlarge in the screen so you can see it better. A sweetheart dance. Valentine's Day was coming. Henry and his big dog Mudge loved Valentine's Day because of the candy. They liked the candy hearts that said, "You're swell," and "Oh dear," and things like that. Notice the word in yellow, it's because. That's our high frequency word here. Henry read the words and Mudge licked them off. They were a good team. On this Valentine's Day, Henry's father and Henry's mother were going to a sweetheart dance. Henry and Mudge would be staying with Mrs. Hopper. Again, here, the word dance highlighted in yellow, it's your high frequency word. Mrs. Hopper lived across the street in a big stone house with droopy trees and dark windows and a gargoyle on the door. Across here is your high frequency word. Henry liked Mrs. Hopper, but he did not like the house. "Are you sure Mudge and I can't come to the sweetheart dance?" Henry asked his father. The word across here is your high frequency word. "Only if you both promise to wear a tuxedo and shiny black shoes and waltz the Blue Danube," said Henry's father. Only and shoes are your high frequency words there. Henry looked at Mudge and tried to imagine him with a tuxedo and shiny black shoes waltzing to the Blue Danube. "I think we'd better go to Mrs. Hopper's house," Henry said. "Good idea," said Henry's father, "because Mudge only knows how to tap dance," Henry said with a grin. That's a funny looking picture there of Mudge in a tuxedo tap dancing. Costumes. Mrs. Hopper wasn't like anyone Henry had ever met. She played the violin for him. She served him tea. She told him about her father, who had been a famous actor. The high frequency word here is told. Told. She was very kind to Mudge. She cooked him a bowl of oatmeal and gave him his own loaf of French bread. Yum, look at that. After the tea and music and oatmeal, Mrs. Hopper took them upstairs. She opened a room that had been her father's. The word opened is your high frequency word here. "Wow," said Henry. "The room was full of costumes. There were silk capes and tall hats and shiny coats. There were canes and swords and umbrellas. There were wigs." Mrs. Hopper put the wig on Mudge. "You look like a poodle, Mudge," said Henry. Mudge wagged and wagged. Henry and Mudge and Mrs. Hopper spent most of the evening in the costume room. They had a wonderful time. And when Henry's parents came back from the dance, they were ever surprised. Mudge was a poodle and Henry was a man. Henry wore a tuxedo and a hat and shiny black shoes. "I bet you didn't know I was this handsome," Henry told his dad. And everyone laughed and laughed. All right, grade ones, I'm going to turn your attention now to your readers and writers notebook. If you can, turn with me to page 490. Are you there? All right. I'm on page 490 and we're talking about high frequency words. These are the words that were highlighted in your story, and you can have a look at them on page 197 of your Reading Street books, as well as if you read the story Henry and Mudge on page 198 to page 217, I think it is, and you will see them all along the story. Let's look at them. Across, because, dance, only, open, shoes, and told. Here's a picture number one of a girl opening up a chest, and the word is opened, opened, opened. Number two, here's a girl and she's dancing, and the word is dance, dance, dance. Once you locate the word from the block above, please write them in. Try to do the work by yourselves with the help of moms and dads without looking at my answers first. So as soon as I tell you what page to go to, you go to it and try to do it without looking at my answers, then look at the video again. Number three, a girl is ice skating, and there's nothing else to do with ice skating here except for the word across. She's going across. Here's an arrow showing us where she's going. Across, across, across. Number four, she said, I, something you to read slowly. I told you to read slowly. Here's the word told, T-O-L-D, told, told, told. The plant grows something, it has water because it has water. The plant grows because it has water. The word is because, because, because. Number six, mom said only one treat. O-N-L-Y, only, only, only. And the last one on page 490 is shoes. S-H-O-E-S, shoes, shoes, shoes. Now remember, try to pick out these answers and fill them in without looking at my answers. We're going to go quickly now to page 495. And that's page 495. We're going to look at comparative adjectives. These are adjectives that talk about size, talk about color, talk about weight, and all of those things where we compare one to the other. Now, if it's EST, we're going to underline it. If it's ER, we're going to circle it. Let's look at the number one. Mrs. Hopper is taller than Henry. Here's the picture. Here's Mrs. Hopper. Here's Henry. Mrs. Hopper is taller than Henry. We circle the word taller. Taller is our adjective. Number two, Henry's father is tallest of the three. 1, 2, 3. Henry's dad's the tallest. That's our adjective. Tallest, we underline it because it's EST. Number three, Mudge is smarter than that dog. Smarter here, ER is our clue in the word, and we circle the word smarter. Mudge is the smartest dog of all. Our clue here is EST, so we underline that adjective, smartest. Henry's mother is older than Henry. Our clue here is ER. We circle the word older because that's our adjective. It's telling us about Henry's mother. Number six, Mrs. Hopper is the oldest of the three. Oldest is also telling us about her age, and it's got EST in it, so we underline that. Quickly move with me to page 502. All right, here they want you to compare the three boys here using adjectives. Now the words are oldest, shorter, quieter, faster, tallest. Now your possible answers are, and they've given the boys names. Bob is shorter than Dan. Dan is quieter than Wes. Dan is the oldest of the three. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down names under the boys' feet, and then write down your sentences comparing them. Compare each one of them talk about how tall they are, talk about how short they are, talk about who's holding the ball the longest or who's the fastest. Remember, we got to use these words: oldest, shorter, quieter, faster, and tallest. Once you've done 3 sentences, try to find all these words in your 3 sentences and you know you're correct. Quickly, our last page for today is 504, and this is an easy one. Here we're looking for the adjective in the sentence that's underlined. The word that has the right word, that's the adjective, will be the correct one. Now your adjective will always tell you something about the subject. Mrs. Phelps' lawn is greener. It's telling us about the color. So we say this word is underlined. It is our adjective, and we cross tick or color in that option. Number 2, Mr. Jones is underlined in the first one. Mr. Jones is not an adjective. It is a noun or a proper noun. So we can't choose that. Number 2, has is underlined. That's not an adjective. So we can't choose that. We look at the last one. Mr. Jones has the brownest lawn of all. And the word brownest is a color. It's got EST in it. And we know that's an adjective. It's telling us what color it is. We cross tick or color in that option. Number 3, Mr. Wayne's trees. Now the word trees here is underlined. Trees is not an adjective, it's a noun. It's something we can see, feel, and touch. So we don't use this. Mr. Weiner's trees are shorter. Aha, shorter here, and again our clue ER is there in the word. It's telling us the length or the height of the trees, and we know that's an adjective, so we cross tick or color in that option. Number 4, Mr. Scott has the tallest trees. The word trees again, like number 3, trees is a noun. You can't use that. Number 2, Mr. Scott has the tallest trees in the neighborhood. Neighborhood again is a noun, and we can't use that. It's not describing anything. The last option, Mr. Scott has the tallest. Again, our clues here are EST. So tallest is telling us the height of the trees, and we know that's an adjective. It's telling us something, describing. Number 5, our house is older. Aha, older has ER in it, and it's telling us the age of our house. So it's an adjective, it's describing it. We choose this option, cross tick or color in that option. And our last one for today, Dr. Ruiz. Dr. Ruiz is underlined. Dr. Ruiz is not an adjective. It's a proper noun, so we cannot use this. So we look at the second option. Dr. Ruiz owns the newest. It's got our clues, EST in it, and newest tells us about the age, that it's very new, and we know that's an adjective. It's a describing word, so we cross tick or color in that option. Grade ones, it's been a pleasure being with you. I hope you have a splendid time. Ciao.